liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
You're tapped in, so let's get right to it. So, in my timeline, I came across a creator by the name of AFRO Think Tank. And AFRO Think Tank has an opinion as to those Black Americans who say that voting does not matter. And in his piece, he goes in explaining as to why it does matter, and that for those of us or anyone of Black America or in a Black America who thinks that voting does not matter, we're being intellectually lazy. I have an opinion about that, and I'm sure a lot of us do. The fact of the matter is that, for one, um, voting rights acts have been passed since way before 1965. Let's be clear about that. But since 1965, it was more of a, okay, let's make sure this is etched in stone and it can't be removed. This is a law that will serve or enfranchise Black people or Black America. What we've seen since 1965 as a result of our participation, one coming into or being a part of this integrated state or nation, not just in the social aspect of it, but as well as the political aspect of it, very little has been accomplished. This is 2026. And yet we, Black Americans, are still faced with suppressions, not just voter suppression. Let's be clear. Let's be quite clear about that. But suppressions nonetheless. Most of these suppressions start way before voter suppression. This what makes the vote weaker. You know, these white supremacist ideologies and actually the laws that are, most of which come into play, are laws written for and by white supremacists, as well as those who have money, the 10% of this country. Again, make no mistake about it, voting probably has its place in politics. However, let's be clear that politics are ran by the rich. Politics are controlled by the rich. The laws that this nation live up under or have to follow, those laws that regulate this society, were established and put in place by the rich to serve the rich. Let's make no mistake about that. Let's get out of this mindset that we can actually change this country and all that is wrong about it, especially in its constitution, that we can change the institutions that have systemically been about racism. This is our folly. This is where we go wrong at thinking we can change a system that was not, that was, when it was designed, had nothing to do with us in mind. All right. It was placed there for other people and not Black Americans. All right. Let's be quite frank about that. I'm going to play this clip by Afro Think Tank, and I'm going to have some comments in relation to it. But first, I wanted to share this with you guys. It is in regards to the suppression of the Black vote. So disenfranchisement is the systematic revocation of the right to vote. It's used historically and currently as a primary tool for suppressing the political power of Black people. By removing Black citizens from the electorate, these tactics ensure they cannot influence the laws or officials that govern their communities. Now, in that respect, there is the picture painted that, yes, Black enfranchisement in terms of the political apparatus, it can serve the Black population, the Black community. We contend, however, that that's not the truth. And we say this because, again, the Constitution, its framing, its construction, its existence has very little to do with Black America. It was not designed and created to serve or be inclusive of Black America. If it were, had that been the case, there wouldn't be so many different amendments, applied to and instilled in the Constitution. And not only that, but we would be looking at a different situation here in the United States, especially one that says if we vote, we can change our station or situation here in the country. Since, let's say, 1865, we've been fighting for a place in a country that has none for us, other than serving the country's economic base, what makes it run, what makes it go. They need us for that, but they don't need us to instill or impart our ideals as to whether or not, the laws we want to put in place will serve everybody, and rather than just us or just them. They're not concerned with any of that. So when Blacks say, man, the vote don't really count, there's some validity to that. There's a lot of validity to that. We had the 1965 Voting Rights Act gutted, particularly Section 2 of it was gutted. Now, a lot of Black folk thought that this thing, the Voting Rights Act was etched in stone. It was etched in granite. It could not be removed. However, that did happen. That did happen by a conservative right GOP justices okayed it, gave the green light for southern states, and more likely other states will follow, to gut and remove certain things or regulations, let's say laws that were in place to protect the Black vote. How much does the Black vote matter if it can be removed? I think this is the question that's being missed by a lot of our people when they go in on the people who say, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. What it says to us is that, hey, our vote does not count. It does not count. If it's it does not count. Okay, let's get into this clip I have. I want to show this piece by the brother from Afro Think Tank, and I'll have some opinions after the fact. Before we jump into that, please like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to TAP, the Art of Political Discourse. You guys' participation, it does mean a great deal to us. So we thank those of you who have participated, who view the channel, and have subscribed. We ask that others do the same. Let's get to this clip. I think it's very informative, but also I think it brings to the table the debate that needs to happen within the Black community in regards to whether or not the Black vote really matters. And we say it doesn't. There's more to that. So bear with me. Here we go.
The next time you talk to a Black person that say, I don't vote, voting doesn't matter, voting don't work, voting's a scam, politics is all bull crap, ask them this: if our vote don't matter, if voting is a scam, if there's no point for Black people to vote, and if we don't really have any political power in the country, then why is it that our opposition, our enemies, why is it that the Republicans put so much effort in suppressing it? Ask them that. See if they can answer that question. Because you don't bother suppressing something that doesn't matter now, do you? You only suppress things that you see as a threat. You only suppress things that you see that, if given the opportunity to flourish, would overwhelm you. That's the only reason you would suppress something, because it's dangerous. So the next time you hear a Black person say, I don't vote, Democrats, Republicans, two sides of the same barrel, all that weak, intellectually and politically lazy shit, hit them with that question and see what they say.
Okay, now, all right, that being said, and that content is courtesy of Afro Think Tank, that is the host of that channel. In all due respect, respectfully, my response to that is when we say, or we label our people as being weak intellectually, just lazy, not wanting to buy in to a system that over time has shown each and every Black person that this system is not designed for us, it was not made for us, then why would you argue that? It's as if we're being, see, here's the thing. Most of what we've integrated into a system that is not for us. I think this is getting to the crux of the matter. It's not even the vote. It really does not, it's not even the vote. Let's be straight up, people. It has really nothing to do with the vote. It has all and everything to do with us wanting to be involved in a system that is not designed for us. The system is not made for us. Okay? We are integrated into something that does not have a space for us to find equity or equality in it. That's the system. That is the system. Okay, then what's the solution? There is a solution. And a lot of those same people who say, hey, look, man, this is all a waste of our time because we'll be doing this 100 years from now again, another 100 years from now. What's the solution? Hey, we have to understand that we have to unplug from a system that does not provide equality and equity. That should be the first thing that we come to understand about this political apparatus in America. And yes, Republican and Democrat, they are of the same coin. Now, most Blacks who vote Democrat, they don't see where that vote that they cast for politicians who may even look like them comes to fruition, that there's some type of result in their favor, in their communities, as a result of that vote. A lot of us don't receive that. A lot of us right now to this day can go to our communities and our communities are unrecognizable because we're no longer in them. As a result of those we elected to send into the halls of power to handle our bidding, to take care of our communities that are in dire need. These politicians will take our vote, go into the political sphere and forget about us, but they'll include everyone else and will tell the Black voter, I'm not doing nothing for you specifically. If I can't do it for everybody, I'm not doing it for you. However, the Black hears that and he sees that, okay, you said that, but what are you doing for us while you're so busy doing it for everybody else? Where has my vote, the votes that the Black community casts, materialize something that benefits us? See, you guys are not thinking like you should be thinking. You're not thinking independent of the political apparatus. The politics and stuff keeps us distracted on the BS. 1965, hey, that was over 60 years ago. All right. And yet, and still here we are asking, how do we materialize anything, or why hasn't anything materialized as a result of our vote? Where can we point to at the being in this, for 6 decades that will show us that, okay, this is what we actually got? Us, not everybody else. See, everybody else since 1965 have benefited from our efforts. Everybody but us. Our politicians who we give these votes to, they go and they give the votes to AIPAC, J Street, Israeli lobbies and PACs to do the bidding of those lobbies. The Black vote does not materialize anything in the communities that Black communities that Blacks can say, yes, our vote did us well. We'll continue to do this because we see it pays off. That's the problem. That's the problem. So we're not just talking about the suppression of votes. We're talking about the suppression of equality and equity. We're talking about the suppression of inclusion. And this has been this way for a very long time. The country is coming up on its so-called 250th birthday. And in that time, two and a half centuries, blacks have gotten the shit end of the stick. And that's putting it lightly. We're in 2026. We still have major corporations and individuals who have vast sums of money discriminating against blacks. But not only that, they're able to take this money and determine in politics, in the halls of power, what laws will go against us and what laws to get rid of that will benefit us. The black vote is it's a farce. It's a farce. And the reality is, plain and simple, black people, the black community, blacks here in the United States they must establish their own political party and or system, one that serves them. The Black Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus does not serve the black community. Guess who it serves? Israeli lobbies, other minorities, immigrants, things of that nature. You have immigrants coming into this country. We've been here for generations upon generations upon generations. And for whatever reason, they get established, they get the jobs, they get the homes, they get the assistance and aid from the same government that blacks voted into office. The benefit of our vote goes to everyone but us. That's the problem. So in any rational thinking mind, that would mean then my vote doesn't matter. My vote doesn't matter. The vote helped the Electoral College to elect Barack Obama. And yet Barack Obama wouldn't even pass laws that would protect the citizens, the black citizens of this country. Would not even put in place executive orders that would defend blacks in this country against white supremacy, bigotry, racism, lynchings, things of that nature. That's what the black vote did for them or for us. Nothing. We have individuals, politicians who profess to want the black vote, Democrats, and yet they'll go behind Democrats' back to support foreign governments who have agendas that are against the empowerment and the elevation and excellence of black people. Facts. So rather than disparage black men and women in this country who recognize that the black vote has done nothing for the community, especially as a whole, rather than do that, get to understand that side of the mindset in terms of the vote and politics in the United States. Understand why blacks are saying we need our own political party if we're going to be a part of this political apparatus or this country. Because if we continue on the road that we're on, if we continue to assimilate into a system that really doesn't have any place for us in it, we're not going to achieve anything. This system will continue to do things that will further disenfranchise us from it. And see, you guys are stuck on one thing, the vote, and it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. So give that some thought, African think tank, or anyone who says that any of us who think that the black vote or the vote does not matter, give that some thought. And you guys have to be able to recognize that, there's a lot of validity and truth in what blacks are saying in terms of this political process called voting. It has very little benefit for the black man and woman. And again, we could just point to, we've been doing this since 1965, where it's supposed to have really been legit, codified into the laws of this land, but have done little for us. We still have ghettos. In fact, our ghettos, we're being replaced in our ghettos by other ethnicities, by other demographics. We're being pushed out, pushed away, pushed beyond the political process. Get us some thought, brothers. All right. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.